Yeah, well, you see the basic lab. Essentially, the story is that you're a tester testing out a device, and basically the idea is you're going through different time periods in a simulation, doing different kind of puzzles. This is the tutorial to kind of get you used to what you're going to see throughout the different levels. Basically, a lot of stuff that we kind of learn throughout the year.
So my name's Fred. I'm the one that kind of put the puzzles together. Jeff was our kind of our manager. He kind of made sure everything was going good. Zach here, he made most of the models, like the buildings and whatnot. And Jupiter did most of the texturing. And we had a fifth member, but he wasn't, he can't come today, and he did the sound. His name was Tyler. So, basically, you're a the idea of the game was you're a scientist, and you're testing out this Chrono Device, and it's basically just this little watch, and Jeff, could you go to these are some like the models and stuff that you'll see with that in the game, and you see that little watch, that's supposed to be the device, and yeah. So you're basically just going through a bunch of different time periods, testing out the device. There's puzzles there, and our game is mostly parkour kind of platformer puzzle game. We do have a menu, but it's kind of a little wonky. We didn't get enough time for everything to implement everything so it works. You guys have anything else? Oh yeah, we put in 2 Easter eggs. One that brings you to a level where we kind of have a bunch of assets that we didn't use, or assets we used in the beginning of the game. And then we have another one that was just kind of, you find in the level, and it's just kind of like a little text that says hi. This is one of the longest levels we have, and it's just the maze. It's an Aztec maze. We were more focusing on like it being long, so there's only like one way to go, but there's several rooms in it, and it has those have like puzzles and stuff you have to figure out.
And also, well, the maze, once you're through, there'll be a few nasty surprises. Since they'll really at least give you a bit of a day. Right, Fred?
Yep.
I helped clean some things up. I also made the sword and the spears.
As you can see, as the farther Jeff goes, he'll be going through different puzzles. So and sooner he'll be getting closer to a puzzle, so that would be a real challenge. And if you pick the wrong object, you go back to where you start. But if you pick the right one, you're safe. Pick wrong, you go back to the checkpoint, and you have to do it over again until you get it right. Like the pillars, for example. Oh, you have to go the right way. You pick the way. If you go the wrong way, you go back to where you start. And Jeff, is taking his time to make sure here he doesn't lose track. And judging the fact, he's doing well.
One thing we don't have is the death scene. We just kind of respawn. We weren't really focusing on that part. We were most focusing on actual gameplay and the puzzles and whatnot. Yeah, our game isn't really forgiving in the fact that the learning difficulty, but we think that that gives it more of a reward for when you actually do finish it. That's why some of the puzzles are harder than others. That was the Easter egg. He used a cheat to pass the puzzle, the maze, because it's really long, and most of us, I think Jeff's the only one that actually did every room. Sorry, yeah, our teleport cheat didn't work. Try pasting that and just starting. You have the right keyboard. So, actually the interesting thing about our lab, how we got that, is I was messing around with the materials and changing the lab's materials and whatnot, and I found this one where it will detect where your camera is, and so that's how we found that. This is one of the Easter eggs. There's no really indication that you go there besides a giant clearing. So here we have some models that we cut, or else some things we just didn't use. Like this is actually the first lab when we first started making the game. and that's a pair of armor that we were gonna put in, but it lagged the game too much because of how many faces there were.
Hey guys, in the interest of moving things along, have we seen everything you need to show us?
Yeah, sorry, any questions?
Yeah, probably, I'm sure we have a few comments to run through. So, I think overall, you said it at one point where you said there's no indicator in that case. And so I think as we look at the user experience of your game, it's a little disjointed and hard to follow. In the case of like where is it we're going and what is it we're trying to accomplish. That you have a lot of these pieces, but the feedback as to what it is where we're doing or where we've gone wrong, especially for example in your maze example of seeing like what it is that I'm supposed to be doing and what I've done wrong that's respawned me back to where I would go. You've got a lot of different pieces, and I think coming back to the idea of having some pieces that work a little more clearly for the user to be able to enjoy the game and see what they're doing could be some feedback that I think about for your next project or as you go back into this project. All of that said, really interesting potential for the theme here though. The idea of having a Chrono Device where you could go through and like explore different historical pieces and have the assets that would show you that could really take you somewhere. And the idea of having to like have a bunch of different puzzles that would get you through some sort of a quest-oriented game could come together. So that could be the thing that might bring all those pieces back together for you in another iteration or two.